My brother,
What's up? What's up?
everything good, man. Welcome to the show.
Yes, man. Give thanks for having me. Enough respect.
Yeah, man. Enough respect back to you, brother. My name is Supa, of course. That's DJ Uncle L.
How's it going?
Blessed Uncle L. Respect, man.
Thank you, respect.
So, three times Grammy nominated, record producer, recording artist, songwriter, and multi instrumentalist. How many instruments you play?
Ah, I play a bit of bass, guitar, a little bit of piano, drums, little bit. But like I'm. Some people say that I'm a bit humble with it, but like I'm still learning things.
Yeah, yeah. But, bro, at 26 years old, you have a pretty good resume, man. An extensive resume. I mean, wrote songs for people such as Protoje, that's Uncle L's boy right there, Protoje,
Yeah.
Georgia Smith, big artist, Koffee, Dochi, Lila Iké, Jesse Royal, Vybz Kartel, and I'm sure many, many more.
Right, for sure. It's a blessing, that I've been able to work with so many great artists, in a relatively short career, because it's really been 4 years since I would say that my professional music career has started. So let's give
Wow.
thanks.
Yeah, 4 years. That's a lot to accomplish in 4 years, man. So you started producing first?
Yeah, that's what people mainly know me for as well, because that's what I started with. I've always been making songs and stuff still, but yeah, the productions really is what got me out there,
Yeah, matter of fact, I see you got a little Yamaha, the little white Yamaha behind you, and I got one sitting right here. So look,
Yeah.
I feel kind of professional. I can't produce, but like I got the right speaker though. You know what I mean?
They're great. They're very good for general purpose things, like.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
And I'm gonna do like I always go into pawn shops. I don't care and look for like equipment and stuff. And today I saw a keyboard in there, Uncle L, right? And it had all the keys written on it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back and get that tomorrow. So, because when I was younger in Trinidad, I used to try to play the keyboards. I played like Mary Had a Little Lamb, but with both hands though. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. But it's a pleasure to have you. Now, one thing I don't agree with in this bio, right? Let me find it. It said you're dubbed as Jamaica's next big producer. I would say Jamaica's big producer, along with other big producers, but I would take the next out. I think that next needs to be X'd out. You know what I mean?
Hey, I appreciate that. That's what they said at the time. And that was the first year. That was in 2020, I think them said that. And that was like the year that I really came to the forefront of things in a way. So it's a bit maybe not relevant now for the time, but that's a direct quote.
Okay. I'm gonna exit out of mine then.
I appreciate that though.
Yeah, one love. So let's give us a backstory, right? Like, how did you really get started? Like, Uncle L always tease me because this is my question I ask everybody. How did you know you want to be an artist, producer? Like, what was the moment you say, you know what, music is it for me?
I think when I was there, how old was I? I was like 17 or 18. I was deciding whether I was going to go back to high school. Because in Jamaica's education system, you have something called sixth form.
Right.
Which, what I'm trying to remember the equivalent grade. I think it's grade 12 and grade 13.
Right.
I went for grade 12 and that's lower six. And, my family was facing like some financial issues at the time. And I was weighing up the pros and cons of going back. Like, they're gonna, it's gonna be expensive for them to put me back in school, and my heart wasn't in it as much. And at the time I was doing a lot more music on my own, and it's like I just kind of look on it and say, well, just take the leap, like you're doing some stuff in music right now. I don't have no credits or nothing at that point in time, but I was just backing myself to figure out something, and I just couldn't see myself going through the system that way, like whether it's school and then getting a degree and then going into a 9-to-5. Like, I just couldn't visualize it. I could easier visualize myself doing the music, what I mean?
Right.
I had supportive parents, they understood And they, they were just like, all right, well, if you're doing this, then just make sure you know what you're doing,
Right.
But yeah, that was a confirming moment, and I was just like, I took a deep breath and I said, okay,
Let's do
we're
it.
doing this. We're gonna make this music thing work,
Right. In such a short time, right? Because there are people who's been producing and recording music for years and years and years, and never got that break. So for you, what do you think the difference was that give you so much success in, I guess, so short a space of time?
That's a good question. I think it's always good. Them thing there is always a bit complicated. It's always gonna be like multiple factors.
Right.
I do think that I've worked hard, and I do think that I've made good decisions. But I also think that there's a level of, some people that call it luck, some people call it coincidence, or some people call it blessing.
Right.
Where, and I personally believe it's blessing. Like, I just feel like this is what I was meant to do, and I do it to the fullness of my abilities, and I just give thanks. I give thanks to just say, we even make it this far, because I didn't know. I was not certain. Faith, just faith and works combined, and it worked out.
Yeah, man.
You talk about decisions. You talk about making good decisions. Well, what do you think was the best decision, or like something, particularly like a decision that you made that, if you had made the opposite of it, things wouldn't have worked out,
That's a nice question. Nobody's ever asked me that before. Let me think on it. Because there's a lot of decisions I would have made,
Right.
I mean, the one I just spoke about was probably a good one. In terms of, just leaving the school thing and trying music full time. I would say learning how to make things more palatable, like considering other people and what they like in music instead of what I like. Because I think that was a very that taught me a lot, not just about what other people like, but just what music purpose can fulfill. You know what I mean? Where it's not just about making music for me, where I can make things the most musical and do all of the things that fulfill my ego. Is looking into music and realizing, say, oh, this thing have power, and this thing, once you put a certain message in it, especially reggae music, with the message that it have, you can really make change, even if it's just sparking a change in one person, and I think, I was on the path to just being a know-it-all musician, just doing everything, myself, and just self-serving what I want. But I think learning to make music for people was really the next defining decision for me.
Right. And that's important. That's important because, as I'll say that from a DJ perspective, we play what we like. And it's so often that, the music that we play are things that we like, but then there's a whole other world out there of people that enjoy the music, enjoy the vibes, and sometimes you have to reach into other genres, other types of music or even other styles of like reggae, just to kind of pull something that the masses will like. So yeah, I could see that.
That's a little hard for me. I don't know about you, Uncle L, because some of the new dancehall music, because of the subject matter, I just can't allow myself to play certain songs. You know what I mean? And sometimes I think, well, maybe these guys are just, speaking on what they know, how they grew up, the community they grew up in. You know what I mean? But it's hard for me when it's gun lyrics and you're talking about killing another brother or another man, or it's that PUSSY word. Like, I don't think those words need to be in the song to make your point. You know what I mean? So we, on our show, we more stick to like the culture side of it, like, you know what I mean? But that was an excellent point you made. And who were we interviewing? I think it was Warrior King, and you know, I had to tell him, I said, man, you kind of helped me with that, because he's like, was it Warrior King or?
It was Warrior King. It was Warrior King. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the statement he made was like, you know, well, even him at one point was kind of like following the Bounty Killer kind of vibe back, like a DJ Badman type of thing back, you know. But it was his community, and it kind of helped me. But so I'll be a little lighter, you know what I mean? But certain songs I still won't play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
That when it come on to purpose, when I was referring to what people like, taking in what people want, I think it would have been more accurate to say what people need. Because I agree with that in terms of like the message and stuff. Like, you know, when you look at a lot of the most influential music, is not necessarily the music where I talk about guns or I talk about like derogatory things. Is music where touch people in them heart. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I was trying to get across, is really that type of music. Like, that's what people really need, you know, and really want, you know, but them kind of get accustomed to just whatever. And you know, me personally, like, at least in the music when me I work on, and what me would I like to see other ones touch on more, is just the things that really connect with what people feel inside.
Right.
You know, and yeah, I feel like we need more of that type of music, more music for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Hey, Uncle Ed, before you ask your next question, I just want to vibe on a song real quick, because I was in the gym earlier, right? And I was just listening to some of the EP, because when does the album the EP actually drop?
So the EP for the people, it comes out on November 20. That's like little less than 2 weeks away.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense, because on Apple Music they only have 3 songs. I think it's 3 single, and the rest is grayed out. But I imagine until it drop, right? So I was listening to those and some other singles you have out, and I was saying to myself, man, this guy is really good. You know what I mean? Just a natural vibe. And this is one of the songs I was listening to, and I had to turn it up in my headphones. So I just want to maybe play like a minute of it, and then Uncle L will come back.
All right.
I heard the news today, now I'm deep in darkness. It was just yesterday, didn't see no problem. This life can be so strange even when you're cautious. I'm tired of feeling pain, I'm just being honest. They say everything in life's for a reason. They say, but when you leave without a goodbye, was their thesis? Hey, now tell me please, I'm a little confused. Do not tell me peace, come and need the whole truth. We no get to pick and choose. So where were you when you get the bad news? Oh, I remember exactly where I was for the bad news. I remember exactly where I was. Everyone feels it or knows that it's hard. But deep, everyone knows, and it shows in our scars.
Man, it's such a good song, bro. You know what I mean? It just make you think and reflect. Go ahead, Uncle L.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing, because I was listening to this song. I've obviously heard it before, played it on our show before.
Right.
You know, I was just thinking about how powerful music is, because, you know, thinking about it, both of my parents passed last year over the course of 2023, and you know, just kind of listening to that and thinking about, you know, where I was when I heard, you know, and heard about them passing and all that kind of stuff. And it just makes me remember that music, it really just brings people together and just has that, you know, finds that spaces of commonality, because we've all been through that. You know, we've all been through losing people. So can you talk about like how, you know, where does that inspiration come in that allows you to, you know, just kind of make those connections and put it in a form through the music that just reaches all people all over the time.
Yeah, well, it's life. Firstly, sorry, my condolences, and I'm glad that this song kind of touch it in that way, because the truth is all of us go through life. Like life is my main inspiration. I guess it's everybody inspiration, because life encompasses everything, But I've always been invested in the things that are common for everybody, because we all go through life, we all go through similar experiences, but we a lot of times we feel like we're the only ones who go through situations, and especially the negatives, because it's usually frowned upon to talk about the negative feelings where we go through as people, but it's natural. Like life is a balance of everything, good and bad, you know what I mean? So even a song like Bad News now, that song isn't even about a specific person to me. It's just kind of ruminating on, yes, there are people who I know who have passed away, but it's also just the idea of grief, you know what I mean? Like like I feel grief not just for people I know, but even when I see the news, you know what I mean? When I keep the current events and see how much people lose their life, it's like me kind of, I wouldn't say I put myself in their shoes, but I do wonder what it is that people got through, you know what I mean? And me just try put it across in a way where make other people think about these things too. It's not necessarily something you should just bottle up and store away. These are things that you should explore, because it helps you grow and understand and become more compassionate towards others,
For real. That's real.
No rough, no man, no tough, no man, no better than no man. For every man in a Jamaica, it's just a simple man. And if you upper America, use a simple man. You could have fire 16 or you fire M1. You go step a ninja finger, a step a Shabba Anna, a step in a him head, and this number one. Them ball, boom, 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 out of the jana. And first,
so I want to move on and get to some more fun stuff. One of the things I noticed, you come from a musical background, and reading the bio, it seems that your mother was into music on the journalism production side of TV producing side, and then your father was actually a songwriter, has some music out, saw it on Spotify and things. So and apparently he used to do some work with Exterminator. So did that play a role in you actually making music? Did you ever link up with Fatis when you were younger? That's Fatis Burrell from Exterminator. Did that play a role in your development?
More indirectly than anything, because my father was more involved with Exterminator when I was like a baby. You know what I mean? As I got old and more aware, he wasn't necessarily around Exterminator as much, but he would carry me with him to the studio and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know the artists them who were around at the time. I was just happy to be in an environment that music was being created, even sometimes I just wanted to go home as a youth, but it left an impact on me. And it's the same thing with my mom's, where she through her journalism, but also just through her love of the music, she would have come across all sorts of CDs and vinyls and stuff, and she had her collection that she allowed me to go through and just play what I feel like. Like I would have look at the cover art them, or look at the sleeves to see if I recognize any of the names at all. And like both of them really them love music, and they directly and indirectly, like just living with them and having access to just things in the house, you know what I mean, that all of those things left a impact and spark a curiosity for music within me.
Nice.
And it shows.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No, man, the music is just good, bro. I was in the gym like, wow, man, song after song, You work with a slew of artists. Is there any artist you haven't worked with yet that's on your wish list?
Yeah, man, whole heap. A whole heap of amazing artists out in the world, man. You know, I would love to work with more artists. I hope it don't sound away when I say this, but I'd like to work with a lot more artists outside of Jamaica.
Right.
What I mean, one of my favorite artists is Kendrick Lamar. I'd love to do. You know,
I would love to see that.
Same.
Yeah.
you have artists like Mereba. I think she's so dope. You know, Clear Soul. She's so well. Whole heap of artists there, man. You know, just willing, like, you know, over time, these connections can happen. But yeah, man, it's a whole heap of artists. I mean, if you make a list for real.
And check them off as you go down. Vybz Kartel, when you work with Vybz Kartel, was he still in prison?
Yes. So the way that come about is really true. I did a song, I produced a song with him and Jesse Royal. It's really Jesse Royal tune and Kartel featured on it called Rich Forever. How it went is that me and Jesse worked on the song, and then, you know, couple of weeks passed, and Jesse let me know, say, oh, he's gonna try and get Kartel. I was just like, oh, okay, let's see, because I know, you know, he's still in prison. And even though him was recording music and it was coming out at the time, it's like I wasn't, you know, I managed my expectations. So I was going around it saying, oh, Kartel is on, he's gonna be on the song. I just you know, hold it and see. And then next thing you know, I think I went to the studio with Jesse and we're going to finish the production, and him say, yo, listen this. And then them opened the session and they played through the song right up until it reaches the Kartel verse. I was like, okay, this sounds good. The mix sounds good. I like your vocals, Jesse. And then me hear, Rich Forever, family, me treasure. And I'm just like, oh, whoa. The man really get Kartel on the tune. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was a crazy moment. Of course, you know, like, regardless of the things them were transpire with Kartel, is like you can't really take away the impact we have as a musician. You know what I mean? Just the fact that me involved in something where somebody who great like him, just to be involved in the same project is really a crazy thing to have experience, you know?
Wait, I wanna play a little bit of this. Hold on.
Yeah.
Granny used to tell me all the time.
So you produced this, right?
Yeah.
When faith and preparation combine. The road been right here all this time, but you gotta look with more than your eyes. Jaja blessing, this ain't no luck. World follow suit when your mind made up. I've seen papas turn to kings and kings return to mud when they neglect the truth or forget. But we good over, yes, I can see we ate. Something like Jonah in the belly of the whale. The whole world know this, your soul ain't for sale. Highly Selassie plan never yet fail. Rich forever, yeah, yeah, yeah. Rich forever. Forever, rich with a loving family. Rich forever, rich with ways, means, and strategies. Yeah.
Rich forever, family, my treasure. In a system that breeds the pressure, no release the tension. Every man for themselves, cheese intention, meaning brings not evil invention. Matter how me teach them, need detention. No humanity, lasting vanity, wars of politics, religious policies, burn them policies. We are the pyramid people. No illusion, no one is coming to save us, people. Everything's a state of mind, protect your mind. The school and field them teach we eat for self, no knowledge how for function in the real world. Both for behave yourself, them leave it, give the children, them no real work. How them sleep at night, me no know. 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 How them sleep at night, me no know.
Yeah, that verse is hard. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you see how the man just start trap as the beat drop?
Yeah,
like, I hear that for the first time in studio after I record, so I was blown away.
Speakers loud and everything.
Yeah, big
Awesome, man. Uncle L, you have another question?
Yeah. I mean, listening to your production style and obviously your singing style too, I really feel the bass. I really feel the bass guitars and the keyboard work. Talk about learning to play the instruments and to really just building your career of as a producer. You talk about how how you really just fell in love with music and playing the instruments, because I think that's important.
Right. So I think it really kick off when my mom had bought me a keyboard when I was like 9 or so, and up to that point I had loved music, but I didn't really grasp how it worked. You know what I mean? Like, you hear things and it sounds great, but you don't really understand what people are doing. Because remember, I said more a while, you don't really see how music is made. You just hear the end product.
Yeah.
When I had a keyboard and I started to go through the bank of sounds and say, oh, this sound is like this, and it was tactile, so I could put my hand out and change how something sound or change the note, or and then I started to figure out chords and sometimes I would go on YouTube and look at tutorials of how to play this chord or how to play this progression. And as I got older, none of that stick for a while, but then as I got older and it became more of like my actual profession, that's when I started to take it more serious and say, okay, I need to understand what these progressions are, or understand, learn the techniques properly, like especially with something like bass or guitar. Mm-hmm. You realize that, it's all in the technique, and I have a lot to learn still. I'm by no means like a professional instrumentalist, but I think it's just driven by my curiosity to just try things and feel it out, like literally with my hands, see what I can play. And my instrument right now is my guitar. I have an acoustic guitar, and even for the EP, a lot, I think all of the songs it includes me playing acoustic guitar. I think all but one song is me playing acoustic guitar, 'cause that's been my main instrument now for the last 2 years, I'd say.
Right. All right. So obviously I'll I'll kind of say, when I first heard you and heard about you, I remember it was listening to a Protoje interview or something like that, and one of his releases he was talking about, and I have this new producer, and this guy called Iotosh has done some production for me and thing, and then album starts to come out. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a different kind of sound, and that was kind of when he was, he had moved away from I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he had kind of moved to, before he was the guy who produced his first album,
Don Corleone.
Yes, Don Corleone. Yes. So he had kind of moved away from Don Corleone and started working with Winter, and then folks like you and a bunch of others, and and I was just like, oh, this is a new sound. And right. I noticed in that same press kit, they talk about your sound is rooted in reggae and dancehall. They kind of label it like that, but it's still fresh. It's modern dancehall, but it's different. To kind of talk about how that whole link with Protoje came out, and then what kind of how that came about, and where it went.
Okay. So if my memory serves me correctly, it was Runkus. I don't know if you're familiar with Runkus. He's a
yes.
Matter of fact, we need to reach out to him too, man.
Runkus. Yeah, I think we interviewed him.
Yeah, on the show,
on the show
5-6 years ago. But it's time to do one like this. We can get some video.
Yeah. Yeah, man, whole heap of things gone since 6 years ago, you know. But but yeah, Runkus, me and him were working a lot together at that time. And you know, he was connected with Protoje as well. I think they worked on a couple of songs too. But he brought me to Protoje's house. It was just like kind of like a big link up with, there were a couple of other producers there and thing, and you know, like Protoje is a man will always keep him ear to the ground, so he's always interested in, you know, listening to the next set of producer them to see what their sound is, you know. And you know, there was an opportunity for like everybody to play a few things that they were working on, and I remember being a bit nervous because this is Protoje, you know what I mean? And at the time I wasn't as confident in my sound and things, so I played a couple things, and his reaction was just like he was just like, okay. And then he moved on to the next stuff, and I remember feeling at the time like, damn, like like maybe he doesn't really like what I am doing, because you know, he didn't really react. But you know, he hit me up a couple of years later, maybe 2 years later on Twitter. He was just like, yo, like we link up, and I was just like, okay, let's do it, you know. And
nice.
It was just like a genuine connection. He would have told me afterwards, saying, you know, that from that initial link up, he really liked the sound that I had. But you know, him is somebody who will more so sit with something and think on it before, like he's very intentional like that. So you know, he reached out. He was in the process of building his studio up in an Irish town, and you know, he brought me up there when it was building, and he must say, yo, like I'm about to go into like a new chapter of the music, and you know, I like sound, I want us to build together. And you know, I was very grateful, and I was surprised but very grateful that he would want to, you know, like lock in with me like that. And that's what we ended up doing. I did 2 songs on the In Search of Lost Time album, and then for third time,
big album
yeah, big album. and for his latest like album, not the remix one, the Third Time's the Charm, I did half of the tracks on that, so like 5 songs out there. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. I'm gonna ask a favor, right?
Yeah,
because the EP dropped on the 20th, correct? That's what you said earlier, the 20th, the EP. Yeah. So we're gonna
will drop.
Yeah. So we're gonna feature the whole EP on the show. You know what I mean? We'll go song to song. And we do it for artists like yourself. We won't do it for everybody, but certain artists, you know, Samurai, Mortimer, and a few other artists, right? So what we would like from you is just some sort of jingle that says, hey, this is Iotosh, this is my new EP, you know, something like that. Uncle El will send you a script. You know what I mean? It'll be real short.
You want me to do it right now?
Yeah, you can. Because I'm recording, yeah.
All right. Bless up, you know, this is Iotosh, and you're the Caribbean vibe, right?
Yes.
All right. Bless up, this is Iotosh, and you're tuned into Caribbean vibe with Supa Neil and Uncle Neil. Maybe I have to do it separately, but I'm going to give you one more chance. You know
no,
what I mean?
Man, do it, man.
All right. Blessed, this is Iotosh, and you're tuned into the Caribbean vibe with Uncle L and Supa Neil. And right now we're tuning into For the People EP. I can do it better, but we do it the real way.
No, man, that's good. We'll use that. Even if we won't get another one, that's good enough.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
That was it properly, man. Me not like when it sound like me not sure, you know?
Yeah, right, I feel you.
But if this one, if one just do not work out, we'll start one for now, for sure.
All right, cool, brother. Did we miss any information that you want to get out?
Well, you know, the EP comes out on the 20th. It's called For the People. Really, that's it, you know. Like, just the EP about, right, you know. I'll have a music video for my latest single from it, which is What's the Pre. Music video drops tomorrow. Yeah, so, you know, nice. we're just all strength right now going towards the project itself. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And when do you think we can come? When do you think you'll get a full album from you?
That's a good question. Maybe maybe 2 years from now, I have a project that I'm aiming to drop next year as well. I did a mixtape with Max Glazer from Federation Sound.
Nice.
And that's like it's a mixtape, but there's original songs on there too, and we're gonna package it as like a project as well, you know. So
nice.
We're looking forward to that next year. And I don't know, like me as a man, we have a whole heap of projects, you know, like I have like instrumental projects, or you know, I've been exploring doing more dubbing and stuff like that too. So we'll see how it plays out. Jah willing, you know, me have the time for this job. The 1 million project them that are on my laptop, you know.
I could imagine. I'm sure they will all be fire. Also, we would like to talk to Ronkus and Jesse Royal if we can just shoot a little nudge to them. I think Uncle L reached out to Jesse Royal already, but did you get a response on that?
No, not yet.
Okay. You know, tell them we're pretty cool guys, man.
Come on, we'll definitely give them a link. We're actually supposed to link up with Jesse sometime soon, so
yeah,
we'll keep that in mind and make them know, you know?
No, man.
I rate the platform and appreciate how you guys are shining a light on, like, you know, the good music.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
I'll say this one thing before we go. 3-time Grammy nominated. This year you're bringing it home.
Yeah, man.
I feeling that. There's so much material you put out there. Yeah, so much material you put out there. You had to get something this year.
Really and truly.
Fingers crossed, but at the end of the day, too, you know, I'm just grateful that it resonates with people like yourselves, you know, like that are the main thing to me. Like a Grammy is just like a cherry on top, but
yeah, man.
Make we see still, me not say no, you know.
Social media, how do people find you and get in touch with you?
Every social media platform is just my name, Iotosh. So it's IOTOSH. Every platform, that's what I go by.
Yeah, man. Respect, my brother. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Give thanks, Uncle L. Bless up yourself, man. Give thanks. Appreciate it.
Live life while I'm alive.
We're going to roll out on this one.
Who wanna know what's the pre? Roll with the whole family now. Who wanna know what's the vibe? Come on, let's go for a drive. Go outside, yeah, you better hold on tight. Yeah, she wanna hold on tight. Load up the vehicle, glass in top, it no see-through. Rev it and burn up the diesel. Girl just a wine and a clean so G's and P, sounding on the speaker. Guy rocks the radio a feature. No, we not afraid of the evils. That's why we strapped up with the seatbelt, right? Them can't take 3 points. So who wanna know what's the vibe? Live life while I'm alive. Who wanna know what's the pre? Roll with the whole family now. Who wanna know what's the vibe? Come on, let's go for a drive. Go outside, yeah, you better hold on tight. Yeah, she wanna hold on tight. Inhale the vapor, mind my business and make my paper. Anything you need me pay for, girl. No, me no hype, just grateful. And we not work for no favor. When we get there, we save something later. The rest of it spent cause life need for savor. People will hate, but that's in their nature. We no cater to hate, I know. Who wanna know what's the vibe? Live life while I'm alive. Who wanna know what's the pre?
Iotosh, once again, thank you and respect, my brother. One love, you know what I mean?